Water is the source of all life, right? But inside your house, it can be a source of, well, silent destruction. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most common and sneakiest issues for any homeowner, water damage. Let's dive right in.
I know. It sounds a little dramatic, doesn't it? A silent intruder, but it's actually the perfect way to describe it because the most destructive water damage almost never starts with a big flood or a bang. It starts with a whisper.
And that's our first stop on this tour, the silent intruder phase. This is all about how water gets into your home and works quietly behind the scenes, long before you even have a clue there's a problem.
See, these aren't signs of a major disaster. They're the subtle clues. That faint, musty smell you only catch every now and then, that's often the very first red flag. Or maybe you notice the paint is starting to kind of bubble up, or the floorboards feel a little off. These are the early warnings of hidden leaks that are causing massive problems over time.
So how does one little leak cause so much trouble? Well, it's all thanks to something called capillary action. Just picture a paper towel soaking up a spill on the counter. See how the water just climbs right up it? Water does the exact same thing inside your walls. It literally climbs up drywall and travels along floor joists, spreading way, way far from the original source without you ever seeing a single drop.
Because once that hidden damage finally becomes obvious, or a pipe suddenly decides to burst, well, that's when the clock starts ticking. And let me tell you, it ticks fast.
Think about this. Within just 1 hour, everything is soaked through. Give it a day, and drywall is already starting to swell and fall apart. But the real deadline, the one you absolutely have to remember, is that 48-hour mark. That's the biological tipping point. It's when dormant mold spores, which are everywhere by the way, find that moisture and wake up. After that, every single moment of delay just makes the problem worse, turning a simple fix into a massive project.
And this right here is the whole ballgame. Acting fast isn't just about convenience, it's about your safety and your wallet. A quick response stops that secondary damage in its tracks, prevents mold from ever getting a foothold, and can literally save you thousands of dollars.
Okay, so we get it. The threat is real and the timeline is urgent. What's the solution? Well, the good news is the pros have this down to a science. They follow a really clear, methodical process.
And it all boils down to this one little number, 3. A proven 3-phase process that can take a property from total chaos all the way back to normal.
Here's the roadmap. First, emergency removal. Get all the standing water out, fast. Second, and this is crucial, structural drying. This is where you dry out everything that's left, even the hidden moisture you can't see or feel. And finally, restoration. You rebuild and repair, making it look like the damage never even happened.
But let's be really clear about that second step, the drying part. This is not just about pointing a few fans at a wet spot and hoping for the best. No way. This is a highly controlled science.
Okay, psychrometrics. I know it's a mouthful, but all it really means is the science of air. Professionals manipulate the temperature, the humidity, and the airflow in a room to create what is basically a perfect drying vortex that literally pulls moisture out of wood, drywall, and even concrete in the fastest, most efficient way possible.
Now, the science also changes depending on where the water came from. Was it a clean supply line, what we call Category 1? Or was it from a sewage backup, Category 3, black water? The difference is absolutely critical. With clean water, you can often dry out and save materials. But with black water, anything porous like carpet, drywall, insulation, it all has to go. It's just not safe.
And to make all this science happen, pros use a very specific toolkit. They've got infrared cameras that can literally see hidden moisture behind walls, moisture meters that give precise readings so you know for sure when something is completely dry, and of course, those industrial-strength dehumidifiers and high-velocity air movers. Those are the workhorses that make it all happen.
So, now that we know the problem, we know the solution, let's bring it all back home. How can you actually use all this to protect your own space?
I want you to think about it like this. Your home is constantly communicating with you. All those subtle signs we talked about earlier, that musty smell, the warped floorboard, that's your home's early warning system. You just have to learn how to speak the language.
And a lot of the time, it's trying to warn you about one of these usual suspects. Failing pipes, appliances giving out, or even just clogged gutters. These are responsible for the vast majority of water damage. Knowing that helps you know where to keep an eye out.
So we'll end on this thought. Being proactive isn't about being paranoid. It's just about being observant. Your home is giving you clues all the time. The real question is, are you listening?